Hi, this is how to navigate the course page for Intro to Philosophy, Phil 201. Everybody sets these up a little bit differently. When you log into the course, you'll come to this as the home page. It's also the modules page here, and the course is really designed for you to primarily work from this page. At the top of the page when you log in will be the recent announcements. I'll post at least one per week, reminding you of what you need to do that week. But you also will see that in the to-do list over here. In some cases, particularly this first week, it's just to look at a page. Module 0, start here, is the course information. And really the whole course is more or less designed for you to start at the top and work your way down the page. Under Course Overview, here's your syllabus, the description, what the course is about, course objective. That information also appears on the syllabus, of course, but I wanted to give you the whole syllabus. That's actually going to be your first assignment, is to read that. Technical skills that you need, because I talk about the purpose of the course in another video. Do want to point out you may need to be able to work with document files as well as PDF files, so that you might need to use a computer rather than a cell phone. I don't know what capabilities your cell phone has. The course objectives, what the course is all attempting to accomplish, and how to achieve the objectives. That's what you need to do to be successful. I want to point out that a fully online course like this puts more emphasis on students reading and learning independently than a traditional face-to-face class does. So you're going to have to read the book. The materials you need: this is simply a picture of the book cover so that you can make sure you get the proper textbook. If you want to message me, use the message function in Canvas, and you get there by clicking this on the inbox, and you'll send me a message. If you want to use email, hodgesdh@graham.edu, and I will try very hard to get everything that you submit graded within 72 hours. That's 3 days, not counting weekends. This page is simply the scheduling. My computer's a little slow. While that's loading, you won't see this pink bar. I have an option to view it as if I were a student, because of course the teacher can see things the student can't. This is the schedule. If something happens to change things, if the world goes to hell in a handbasket like it did during spring semester, I'll announce that on Canvas, and I may also send out a mass email. Banner Web has a feature that allows me to email an entire class. Make sure that the email address that you actually check is the one that's listed in Canvas and on Banner Web, so that you get those emails. But we start off with the textbook itself is divided into 3 parts, and so I followed that outline. Part 1, the world and beyond. This first week we're doing Module 1, which is the introduction to the course and what is philosophy, the introduction to what philosophy is. And then we'll move on next week to Module 2, metaphysics. After that, and that module will take 3 lessons, so it's a week and a half. The course is built on the schedule of 2 lessons per week. And I count when you write an exam, that counts as a lesson in the 2 per week. Then we go on to the philosophy of religion, and then epistemology, the problem of knowledge. Your first exam that you submit on Canvas, it's an essay, will be September 22nd, and so on. The grading page. Which also wants you to look at the first day as part of the first lesson. How your grade's calculated, I'm not going to go over that in this video because I do it in the other one. But this you should also look at. This is the framework that I'm going to have open when I'm evaluating your submissions for the online discussions. That takes the place of the course interaction that we would normally have. And I'm really looking at 3 things in your answers. Comprehension. How well do you seem to understand the reading? The analysis of your arguments. I'm often going to ask you to take a position on something. How well are those thought out? Are they logical? Do you provide reasons, evidence to support the position you take? And thoroughness. How fully do you answer the question? And this first column here is a description of what an excellent answer would look like. This is an A. An A answer not only explains the readings but makes some connections. In terms of analysis, your arguments are logical, they make sense, and you support them with evidence and explicit references to the text. You show me very clearly that you have read and understand what the text is saying. And as far as thoroughness, you would fully and completely answer the questions. A B answer is accurate in summarizing the author's message, but it doesn't get beyond that. Your arguments make sense, but you don't provide as much support as an A answer would do, and maybe you don't say as much as I think you should in response to the question or parts of the question. A C answer is basically partial. It's accurate in some respects, not accurate in others. You don't really connect very well to the text. Your answers are not complete, or there's important things that you leave out. A poor answer misunderstands the reading. You don't have much or any evidence to support your position, and it's just not a good answer. What's unacceptable, going to get you a 0, is if I can't see from your answer that you have read the text. There is no way around reading the textbook in this course. Or if you plagiarize your answer, that's going to get 0 points. This page is give you a little information about me. One of the things that's lacking in an internet course is the building of personal relationships that takes place when we're together in person. And so what I've done here is I've told you a little bit about myself, my family, my interests, to kind of give us a little bit of that warm and fuzzy. Now, some of these you may or may not feel the need to look at. One thing, this computer is so slow, it makes the page jump. If you're not sure about what web browsers work with Canvas, the security settings, distance learning policies and guidelines, tech support, how to get help, student disabilities information. I gave you a link here to a generally useful source of information that's free, the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy. If you're having trouble understanding some of the ideas of a particular philosopher or what a particular aspect of philosophy is about, this is a place where you can go and look at that. And I like free stuff. If you need a reader for PDFs, I've got a link to where you can get that for free. Likewise, if you need word processing software, I have a link for that. You might, if you're planning on using your cell phone, and I would really encourage you not to, check out and see if it's compatible with your operating system. I do want to look a little bit. Well, I put some videos about ancient Egypt and about African civilizations. A lot of our students are interested in learning more about that. Let's look at the one about African civilizations. Take a look at that page for a moment. A series, Wonders of the African World, with different episodes. Each of these is about an hour. And a different series, Lost Kingdoms of Africa. I put these up. They're pretty good, and it's there. There's absolutely no requirement that you look at them, but if you are interested, I wanted to help you do that. If you graduate without developing a love of learning on your own and become a self-guided learner, we have not succeeded in educating you, because educated people are self-motivated, self-directed in learning, and it never stops until they put you in the ground. I do have a health and safety. I don't have stuff in here as yet about COVID. You've probably been bombarded with that. But there's a handout on safety on campus with one of our former campus police chiefs and one of my colleagues. A video on what to do if you're pulled over by the police that was aired on one of our local TV stations. And the one I like, Chris Rock, on basically the same subject. But he's funny, but it's humor with a point. On the same subject, what to do if you're pulled, and what not to do if you're pulled over by the police. And I put that up, frankly, because I care about you, and I watch the news. And you can probably figure out what I'm talking about. I do not want to have to go to your funeral. And I'm not saying that, what happened to people like George Floyd and all is their fault. It's not. But I don't want you to put yourself in a situation where you get hurt. You need to do all you can to avoid becoming a statistic. Then we go on and really the guts of the course are the modules here, beginning with Module 1. And I give you on each one the date that you should be doing that module. And each module begins with what's up in that module. Kind of what the module is about. Now I have to revise this because lesson 1.1 is not in there anywhere, but it will be after about module 1 and before lesson 1.2, which is what is philosophy. And I know why it's not there, because I'm going to put this video in that lesson. So I haven't published that lesson yet. But we can look at this one as an example, the next one you'll be doing, about how each lesson is structured. There is a reading assignment. I want to emphasize that the videos that I give you, which are intended to help you in understanding the readings, but they do not replace the necessity of reading. Basically, what these videos are is a way of providing you with the information that I would, in a face-to-face class, provide in class, either through a lecture or through dialogue, to get you background information to kind of help you see what I want you to see in the readings. And so in the introduction, which is not a chapter in the book, it's a long introduction, it talks about the Apology of Socrates, and you have excerpts from it. Well, I gave you a video about that. It goes on to another dialogue. Socrates himself never wrote anything. We know about him primarily through the writings of one of his pupils, Plato, who becomes a very important philosopher in his own right. One of those dialogues is the Crito. And these are videos. In some cases, these particular ones are ones that I found on YouTube. And yeah, I know you can find videos on YouTube as well. But the thing is that to sort out the good ones from the bad ones, you have to already understand the topic. Otherwise, you're not really in a position to know whether what the person talking in the video knows what they're talking about or not. And so I've done some selections. Some I will make myself. I'm sure they're very homemade, but it's a way of getting information to you. And then after you have been through the readings and watched the videos, and I'd suggest you watch the videos with your book open, maybe even read the assignment step by step so that you can, read a section and then look at the video about that section. I don't want to play a video in here. But at the end of the lesson, obviously I've got to have you provide some information so that I know to what extent you are reading and comprehending the readings. And in this case, it tells you the points possible and the due date. Give you a question. Now to respond, you hit reply. I'm not sure if it'll let me do that in Student View or not. I don't think it will. Oh, yeah, it is. You hit reply, and then you simply type in your answer in here. And when you are finished, you post your reply. If you want to attach a file, if rather than writing your response in here, you want to make it, to type it up in Microsoft Word or something like that, and attach the file, you may do so. I would encourage you to either, if you want to attach something, it needs to either be a Microsoft Word document or a PDF. And hopefully you know how to attach files to like an email. It works exactly the same way. And then you hit post reply. Once you do that, I've set all the discussions up so that you have to post before you can see other students' responses. And I do that on purpose because you saying I agree with so-and-so doesn't tell me squat. Now, if you want to, look at the discussions, I do not yet, as I'm recording this before fall semester 2020, I don't have everything up yet, but I'm showing you this now so that you can see each discussion has two dates. A due date, which is when I really want you to get it done, and an available until date. And that is the absolute last minute where you can turn it in. I do have time limits on that. For a very simple reason. I do not want you to wait until the end of the semester and try to do all the work at the end. That is not a formula for success. So that's how the modules work, and you just start at the top and work your way down. You have the option of checking your grades, which you should do from time to time to see how you're doing in the course. And it will show you all of the assignments, when it's due. Now some of these like that's the dates from last spring after everything went online. I haven't got all those revised yet, but as you can see, there's more coming than will be visible to you right now. You can also sort them different ways by the due date, by what module it's part of, by the assignment group is a way of seeing kind of how you're doing overall. Okay, so here's all the discussions. Some of those point values are going to change because I changed the way the grading is done, basically put more weight on the discussions. And I need to clear up the reading quizzes and all that. Of course, there's nothing showing here because test student hasn't completed any assignments yet. This little thing, calculate based only on grading assignments. It's very hard to get an accurate assessment of where you are grade-wise in Canvas, because if an assignment is available on Canvas, Canvas will either well, if this is checked, then the problem is that your grade may not be accurate because it's not counting grades on assignments that have come due but which you haven't done yet. Now you can leave it checked if you know you're up to date on all your assignments. If you're not sure, you better uncheck it so that it shows your points, your percentage overall. The problem with that is that if you it's going to count the assignments that are not due yet as zeros. I don't have a good solution for that. If you uncheck it, then your grade is going to be falsely low. You're actually doing better than it's going to show. If you check it and you are behind on some of your assignments, the grade it shows is going to be falsely high. And the danger there is then you think, oh, I don't need to bother doing those assignments. And when I'm calculating your grade, I'm calculating your grade based on how you are doing on the assignments that are due up to that point. I only do that twice a semester, at the midterm and final. The midterm grade will be what percentage you have of the points that have come due up to that point. And so if you're behind schedule, I'm going to think your grade is lower than you think it is. If you want to look just at the quizzes, there is that option. Though the reading tests are currently misplaced. They're under discussions. I have to move that. Oh, there they are. Assignment quizzes. You see you're going to be 4 of those. The number of points is different for each one depending on how many questions I have. Some of the questions are matching blocks, and so one question may be worth many points. If you want to get in touch with a fellow student, you can message them using the people. You can see who else is in the class. When you go to send a message, it will ask you who you want to send the message to. And I would assume you can send it to other students as well as to me. I know you can send it to me. Okay, I think that's about all that I wanted to go over with this. And like I said, there will be more modules coming up as we go. I'm going to try to stay about 2 or 3 weeks ahead of you. Yes. One other thing I do want to look at. In each module, there's going to be a tab for student helps. These are additional resources that you may or may not find helpful to you. In some places there are videos where I had that. The videos about Plato I had up because we missed a class due to bad weather in the spring, and so I put some material up there. But some of these are things like, and I'm just going to open this with the web browser so it stays. Stays where we can see it good. these are some graphics that I use in class. I don't know why it wants to change the zoom on me. That if we were teaching the class in person, I would put up. The essential problem of early Greek philosophy is to find stability, order, and something eternal in the midst of apparent change. The Greeks felt like if something was changing, you couldn't really have knowledge of it, because by the time you figured it out, it wasn't that way anymore. And some of the key terms that you would at least need to know the meaning of. I make reference actually in the lesson on the first lesson on metaphysics on Democritus and the idea of atomism. An atom for Democritus doesn't mean the same thing it means in modern science, and I even have little drawings of what he thought atoms of lemon juice and of olive oil looked like. Obviously, nobody in the sciences today would talk about atoms of lemon juice or of olive oil. Some of them, like this one, are actually from the publisher of the book, and it's slideshows that they give us to use in class if we so choose. Like I said, this old computer is very slow, but it's the one where I have a webcam and a microphone built in. Gives you a little bit of background about some of the philosophers that may be of interest to you. But when on your discussions, I don't want to hear a lot about their life. I want to hear about their ideas. Here's some of the information that does relate to what you'll be reading about Plato and the idea of the forms, the myth of the cave. So there are some things that you might want to look at in here in these files as you are reading to kind of help you make sure you understand the key points. So if you have any questions about this or about anything that comes up through the semester, feel free to message me using the inbox, and I will try to get back to you. Most of the time it will be the same day or at latest the next day, or I should say the next working day. Okay. Good luck. I'll see you again soon.